Bitcoin's doing a decent job of holding on. We're still at $28,000. Ethereum's still at 1,800. I want to cover with you what we need to actually pump up above 30K. This is actually now starting to finally become almost a little bit painful because of how Bitcoin's just been stuck in this range for so long. But before we get into that, retail traders still majority short, guys. This kind of flipped a little bit. It's been going back and forth from neutral to majority short, but right now we're back to majority short. Bybit also majority short with retail and top traders. And if we look at Binance's top traders alone, we do have more long positions than shorts. So top traders seem a little bit more evened out, potentially a little bit more towards the bullish side. Retail traders, the ones that generally lose money, still generally betting on the market going down. Fear and greed index still at 63. Really nice market overview right here using the 𝐹𝐺 dashboard. I will talk to you a little bit about this later on, but if you're excited for it, let me know with the comments down below. I've actually just made this for myself pretty much to get an overview of the markets. I've also got upcoming news events here as well, which is very useful. The next important date is about 10 days away from here. But I want to cover with you the dollar. Now, this is something that I think is a very interesting chart, courtesy of Game of Trades on Twitter. I don't actually think this person is a particularly, or group of people are particularly good at trading or providing analysis, because they tend to be a little bit too bearish in my opinion. But they did share this, and I like to listen to people from both ends of the spectrum and just kind of like make my own conclusion, which is why I was looking at these guys. And they did point out the 50-week moving average on the dollar, which has ended up rejecting the dollar right here. And I think that's fairly significant. Now, there is actually a few instances where the dollar has done this. I want to show you this one right here. If we bring this chart up, the dollar with the very same 50-week moving average managed to get rejected off this line on the 4th of November 2020, and the dollar really took a deep dive down right up until the very end of the year, right up until 2021 began. And if you look at the very same time frame for Bitcoin right here, when that happened, 5th of November versus 4th of November, very same time pretty much, Bitcoin right up until the end of 2020, up until the beginning of 2021, managed to pull off a really impressive rally, right? The dollar got rejected off the 50-week moving average, which is this blue line, and dropped down to set a low. But at the very same time, Bitcoin pumped up from about $15,000 all the way up to $40,000 off that same level, which I think is really significant. Really tells you a lot about how important this level has been, for the dollar. And when the dollar gets rejected off a moving average like this, what that could mean for Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin did end up seeing some really nice shine as a result of it, and somewhat similar circumstances right now as well. If we actually take a quick look at Bitcoin's chart overlaid against the dollar right here, and we just drop a vertical line, same way I did previously, you can see that as soon as the dollar started to get this rejection, in fact, I should probably move this line over here. As soon as the dollar started to get this rejection off the 50-week moving average, Bitcoin started to take another leg up, right? If we read the numbers, Bitcoin went from $22,500 all the way up to $28,000, even higher, as a result of the dollar getting rejected here, which is more of what we expect. We know that this is generally what we're going to expect to happen, because if the dollar is weak, we can tend to see some money flowing into, other assets, right? And that's why we also see, for example, the S&P 500. If I throw this onto the chart right here and we remove Bitcoin, because this is starting to get very confusing, we see the exact same picture right here, where actually it's a little bit delayed. This is where the main rejection comes in, and it actually marks the low for the S&P 500. This blue line here is the S&P 500, and we can see the dollar just continuously trades lower and lower and lower on this index, but the S&P 500 shoots up in response to it. So this is significant. Last time we got a rejection off this line, it did take the dollar significantly lower, and it's just more evidence to show us that the dollar is in a weak position, right? If the dollar is in a weak position, then we have to expect that Bitcoin and the rest of the market might suffer a little bit as well, just because that's generally what happened. At least that's my perspective here. So that's why I'm pointing this out to you. The dollar is in support, but I don't think it looks particularly strong. On the daily time frame, it basically just looks like we're trading lower, consolidating a little bit before potentially getting ready to move lower again. And this is all, it's something that we can put very easily into the context of, the real world. China, Brazil, other major countries around the world stopping, the use of the US dollar to settle foreign trade. Pretty big deal, right? I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that's going to weaken the dollar's position. And also, the new inflation that we're seeing now, new money printing that's going on with the Fed as well. I think also having an impact on Bitcoin. So my position stays the same. People are asking me what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin, and my answer is exactly the same today as it was when we entered this range a whole 2 weeks ago. You know, which is that we're still in an environment where, you know, everything is kind of, you know, it's the right environment for Bitcoin to continue to rise up. Does it mean that Bitcoin will? No, of course not. But it is the right environment, and that in itself, I think, is important. I'm going to pause this right here. I want to bring something to your attention, and then I'm going to come right back to this video. I want to bring this to your attention really quick because this is an opportunity to potentially make some money, and if it's your thing to also play some video games. Sinverse is essentially, think of like GTA on the blockchain. That's kind of what they're going for, and this is just, you know, your video game where you can go around and like drive cars, shoot people, you can buy strip clubs and all sorts of like other kind of taboo businesses and make money off them. But what's specifically interesting about these guys and what they're running is that you can, you know, do it all with the blockchain token thing that they've got going on. So they've actually got a land sale going on at the end, towards the end of April 21st, and you can get all the information about it on their socials. Again, you know, like if you're not a gamer, like I'm not a gamer, this isn't going to be your thing. But if you're already playing games and if you're interested in, you know, the monetization element, this is a big space in crypto. Could get bigger when we get bull markets. This is exactly the kind of project that can kind of get swept up with the hype. So if that's your kind of thing, then definitely check it out. Follow their socials for information on everything. Some pretty interesting footage. I mean, it's obviously quite early stages, you know, but there's nothing that I've seen that does this with the metaverse. So again, intersection here that could lead to some monetary gains. It's worth checking out. Check them out with the links down below. Okay, so back to the analysis right here. For Bitcoin, same situation stands. We've got support right here at like 27.8. We've got even better support at 26.7 in my opinion. This is going to be the main support for Bitcoin. If we lose this, I'd be looking at Bitcoin falling all the way down to $25,000. I do think that there is the potential for some short squeeze action coming into the market, just given that we have seen majority shorts right now. You know, a lot of people are talking about how the market has to move down because, you know, a lot of people are very, very bullish. And, you know, I mean, the fear and greed index shows that as well. The fear and greed index has consistently been pretty high, too high in my opinion for me to be comfortable. A reading of 63 today, last week 64, yesterday 61. We're basically just flatlining in the 60s right now. Not a good place at all. We're very, very high in terms of sentiment, a little bit too high in my opinion. So yes, I totally agree with you if that's your opinion. But at the same time, the numbers, the actual data, you know, are showing us that majority of retail, majority of bad traders are still short, right? So a little bit of a squeeze would definitely make sense. Now, how might that happen? Well, a squeeze on both sides is one of Bitcoin's favorite things to do, right? So maybe a little flash crash like this, maybe below our support level, and then back up, you know, for that real price action up into the 30K range would make a lot of sense. You got to think about how many long positions have their stop losses right down here, you know? So if we kind of spike below it a little bit like this and then come right back up, that's going to screw a lot of traders up who are long, and then this move up is going to screw a lot of traders up who are short. So both sides get fucked, and that's Bitcoin's favorite love language. So you know, that is definitely something which I think could happen. Support at 26.7, meaning to me a deviation anywhere below it would make sense like this. But we've also got support down here at 25, and this is the main area of support in my opinion. So if things get really nasty, I'm still okay with Bitcoin falling all the way down to this support level at 25, or even a little bit lower down to 23.8. This is going to be my final level for a very quick move up. This would actually make a lot of sense. You know, a move like this for Bitcoin is basically exactly what Bitcoin did right here. If I move us onto a slightly different chart where I've got this line here drawn, you know, it would actually look very, very similar, where, let me just draw another line, and it doesn't really matter how we draw the line, it's only to prove a point, which is that, you know, Bitcoin on this occasion did manage to fall down to the support line. Okay, that's fine, but then we deviated below it, and, you know, we could end up basically doing exactly the same thing like that right here, where we do something that looks a little bit like this, right? We kind of fall down to the bottom of the line. This would be like 27, whatever, 26.7, doesn't really matter. But then we deviate below it, fall significantly lower, and then we come back up exactly like we did on this occasion here. This is exactly the kind of price action that's quite hard for people to stomach and accept. But, you know, if you keep in mind that this is literally what Bitcoin has already done, I mean, only a matter of weeks ago, you know, to me, it actually looks quite compelling that Bitcoin can do something like that again. You know, again, when we look at just how many longs versus shorts there are as well. I think that that gives us the perfect environment to continue to rise up, because what we want to see is that people really get a little bit too swept away with the bullish energy, right? I mean, so far up until this point, and basically since the entire market lows, where you already know the deal. If you've been subscribed to the channel, you're already going to know that _FLIES was very bullish in the market down in the 17k range. Bears have been quite bearish since here all the way up to 28,000, 29,000, and still there is a lot of that sentiment remaining. Now, like I said, it's split a little bit, right? The data is a little bit difficult to interpret right now because fear and greed index is actually showing us that we're pretty greedy right now. We're pretty optimistic, but long and short ratio is showing us that actually people are putting their money in the direction of the market dropping down on average right now. And so what we want to see is that the market kind of continues to rise up to the point where it's now too late to be bullish. It's already too late to be bullish, in my opinion, just in terms of taking long positions, right? I mean, you don't want to be the guy that goes long at $28,000. It's a bad entry level. There's no two ways about it. That's why when I entered my long position down at 21,500, I was pretty comfortable with that entry level, because that was pretty low relative to where we are right now, right? 21.5 over here, pretty nice entry level. It's definitely far away from the bottom, but it's also quite far away from the top. Now, to enter a long position here is obviously quite a dangerous idea, right? You don't really want to be caught, having to enter trades in this range. Worst case, you just kind of have to wait, unfortunately. It is my perspective anyway, as somebody that has been trading these, as a derivatives trader, I've been in the space for 5 years, and as a crypto trader, I've been here for 6 years. So, certified degenerate, speaking to you right here. I mean, you don't want to be going long, right into literally one of Bitcoin's strongest resistance areas, right? Obviously looking for those pullbacks, and that's why, if we do get another move up now, that desperation, right? You might have a little bit of desperation now if you're not in a trade. Best believe that desperation is going to be even louder, even more fierce inside of you, or other people. If it's not you, hopefully it's not you. Inside of other people, if the market does manage to get up into that 30k range, and that's where we really start to get hopefully a lot of late longs entering the market, a lot of late buyers entering the market, perfectly at our resistance level, where we can, come down for a retracement. Maybe we fall down to 22k, whatever, and then perhaps we continue up, or perhaps we continue down. I don't know, and I don't care, because whichever direction we go, I'm going to trade it. If we're going up, I'm going to trade the long side. If we're going down, I'm going to trade the short side, and every single trade that I make goes inside of VIP with that 50% discount running right now as well. So definitely do take advantage of that if you're interested. And of course, Bybit offering you up to $30,000 to trade these markets as well, completely free. All you've got to do is sign up using my link in the description down below, and the deposit, depending on how much you deposit and trade, when you sign up using my link, you will be getting free cash deposited into your Bybit account as a thank you for signing up using my link, and you can throw that money into the market, risk it. Very, very cool stuff. Check out the links in the description down below. Bybit link is going to be down here. My second channel, by the way, is going to be around here in the description. This is more altcoin analysis on a daily basis. I haven't actually started posting to it yet, but I will do very soon, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But yeah, back to the market here. I'm still okay with what I'm seeing. Nothing has happened. We're still in the same position as before. If we continue to drop down, we have phenomenal support. I am liking what I am seeing. This is a very, very good setup in the market, in my opinion. S&P 500, like I spoke to you about yesterday, obviously hasn't done anything because we're on a weekend now, but is in a very strong position. At the same time, with the dollar in a comparatively weaker position, I think that we're looking at more rises coming for the S&P 500. I'm still very bullish on gold. I cannot stop being bullish on gold. I'm actually pissed off that I haven't bought gold yet, but I'm making moves to do that right now. Gold is setting lows that are progressively getting higher. We are currently in one of those lows right now. As long as we hold this market structure, that's going to look really good to me. If we do end up dropping down a little bit, we do have support on the 𝐄𝐗𝐂𝐇𝐀. The 𝐄𝐗𝐂𝐇𝐀 settings that I've got right here, you guys ask me about this quite often, are not applicable for gold, because gold does not run 24/7, but the 𝐄𝐗𝐂𝐇𝐀 is still fairly reliable anyway, even though the settings are wrong, so I'm happy to use it. We have a good amount of support if we lose this market structure. I want to see us lose this market structure. I want a better entry level on gold. I will be buying gold on Prime XBT, which you can do by following the link in the description down below. I cannot stress this enough, guys, in terms of my plays. I'm quite an understated person generally. I don't hype stuff up with big O-face thumbnails and just completely fucking take a line of cocaine before I make my video. But when I talk about my positions, I'm talking about it very, very seriously with a very, I don't want to say with a heavy heart, that's the wrong word, but I really mean what I'm saying. I meant it when I told you that I was bullish on Bitcoin, and that's why I threw more than $100,000 into this Bitcoin trade. You know, and I mean it right now when I'm talking about gold. I want to buy gold. I want to buy gold. I've wanted to buy gold for a long time. I feel like a fucking idiot for not having done it so far. I will be doing it on Prime XBT when the perfect opportunity arises. It might not even be worth waiting for the perfect opportunity, to be honest. I'm already looking at buying real physical gold as well in Dubai, where I live, because I don't want paper gold. I don't want derivative gold. I want actual real physical gold that I can hold in my hands. But I want both. I want to be able to trade it on Prime XBT with a bit of leverage as well. And Prime XBT will be giving you up to $7,000 in commissions. I'm sorry, in trading bonuses as well, just depending on what you deposit. Whatever you deposit, when you use my link down below to Prime XBT, 7% comes back on top of what you've already deposited, and that is free money that you can trade with as well. So I'm very, very carefully monitoring this. I'm strongly expecting a breakout. I cannot stress this enough. I don't make such bold predictions often. I made bold predictions when Bitcoin was at 17, telling you that I'm expecting $30,000, $40,000. I'm making very bold predictions on gold right now, and have been for the last few months. In fact, for a very, very long time, I've been bullish on gold. I just haven't done anything about it because I'm an idiot. But I don't think that there's a lot of time left. I don't think that there's a lot of time left looking at what's happening with the US government, looking at what's happening with BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. I don't think that there's a lot of time, given what's happening with money printing and banks collapsing and so on and so forth. I want to be in gold, and I'm keenly watching this market structure. And to me, it's also going to be moving quite similar to Bitcoin as well. So that just makes my life even easier. I don't really have to do that much additional analysis. I don't really have to put my mind in a particularly difficult place. Everything's already kind of set up for me as far as I'm concerned, because you know, gold and Bitcoin are moving quite similarly right now. So I like that. I like the way that looks. Overall, I'm happy with where we are. Interesting in what's going to happen. If we move down, I am prepared. My stop loss is set in a profit anyway. I would like to see back tests of our support levels. That would be the healthy thing to do. We don't need to do it. We've been consolidating now for 16 days, so that's enough time in my opinion. But if we do get a drop down, that's even more firepower for us to continue to rise up. The more we drop down, the more likely we are to continue rising up, because it means the market is moving in healthy ways. Any Bitcoins that want to sell off can have a chance to sell off, and that's a really, really big deal. That's very, very important. And of course, if the market continues to move up, I'm still in the very same long position that I've been talking to you about for a long time anyway. I'm continuing to give updates on how that position progresses as the market moves inside of VIP, which you can join by following these steps on screen. And I'm also giving a lot of these updates inside of gold as well, completely free of charge. So you can join that free Telegram channel by following this link in the description down below. I really hope you've enjoyed this one. Check out Sinverse as well, with the links in the description if it's something that you think you'd be interested in. Again, you know, it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but it's one of those things where if the market does go kind of mega bull right now, projects like this that, you know, they don't even need to be good. This is the thing about them, is projects like this don't even need to be good. They just need to exist and have the right keywords in their fucking white paper, and they're going to do well. You know, and GTA on the blockchain, you know what I mean? Like, it's obviously poised to do well. So it might be worth checking out if that's something that's up your alley. All right, really hope you've enjoyed this one. You know what to do if you have. Hit up the like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.